This is the one thing everybody has consistently asked me to ask you that has wanted to be on. So how did the brand of the Dog Daddy become? I mean, like, it seems like you came out of nowhere, just dressed head to toe in Versace and Louis V and stuff, and it is so iconic, right? It's the one thing everybody sees. How did that come about?
Well, I think, again, when I first moved to the US, I had no direction in any aspect. Like, I grew up where I didn't have to care about what I wore at all. Like, I had no style.
Sure.
I would, like, it was just really crazy, and I didn't care. There was not something that I had to, like, be concerned with. And then, things going, and I don't know. Okay, one thing that I'm gonna admit, and I think, like, maybe some people are, like, born with this. It's a very natural thing, so don't hold it against me. But I always like to stand out.
Sure,
like
that's normal.
In school, not college, but like in high school, in school in general in Brazil, one time I pierced my ears like all the way, and this was a very conservative part of Brazil. The kids are out in the country; they don't even have guys don't even have earrings. Yeah. And I did 6 on the ear. I brought a mouse to school one time, like a little hamster. Yeah. I wanted to stand out, to be extra, always from the beginning.
Sure.
So that was like something that I think just making it more fun.
Yeah.
It's like that excitement of, you do something that everybody's going to look at it. It's like, and they're going to talk about it. It's just exciting. It builds up this engagement.
Yeah.
Not only on social media, but just in general. So I have always been like that. And so even when I was starting out, even though I didn't have a style, I would do things like when it was like, shortless walking the dogs, or like, I don't know, there was just a lot of, I would wear something that, it would stand out.
Sure.
But I didn't have a direction. The name thing was very difficult. A lot of people were suggesting. So I went to different names because none of them were catchy. It didn't feel like that's me, but I needed something. So it was like the shepherd guy. The most one that really stood for a little while on social media was like Augusto, the dog trainer.
Yeah.
But that to me is so boring.
Yeah.
It's like, just felt like, what is that? A lot of people do that, and there's nothing against them.
Sure.
But because I'm someone that really likes to stand out, they're just like Augusto, the dog trainer. It wasn't it.
Yeah.
But it was that for a long time. And then on TikTok, when TikTok started really blowing up last year, and I was getting like 100 million views a month. I was, everybody out in public was like recognizing me. I had already, at this point, with TikTok, I started wearing louder outfits and more like tracksuits.
Yeah.
And I think I saw a lot of the people like with the, the dancing videos, and, you kind of watch more, you learn, you kind of see and you take an idea of like, oh, that's the style that I like.
Yeah.
And you kind of look up to people that, you relate to and if you associate with. So I started wearing those types of outfits, and then I started thinking of a name. I was like, really, what makes sense? Like, I want something that is me, that really like, stands out. And I don't know how it was, but like the Dog Daddy just came out.
Yeah.
And I thought about it. I mentioned it to a couple of people, and I got mixed feedback on my social media. Like, I was mostly Facebook. I think people are more conservative on Facebook. Especially because they're like my oldest followers. Like, they have been there for the longest. That's the main platform I use. They're like, no, people are gonna think it's unprofessional. They're not gonna take it serious anymore. So, but then a lot of people are like, yes, I like that. It's gonna be so it's kind of cool. It's and it was about 50-50, but I knew I needed a change. And the people that were saying yes, they seemed like excited about it, which was kind of the idea that I was going for. So I overnight changed everything. And this was about 2 years ago, I would say.
Yeah.
And I just changed everything. I got the Dog Daddy tattoo, which is, and again, a lot of people, they're like, oh, it's a horrible tattoo. And the way that I look at it, I went in the middle of the pandemic. I'm a very impatient person. It's completely my fault. I paid more than what it costs to go to a better tattoo artist. So it's not like that I'm trying to, be cheap. But it was in the middle of the pandemic. They were all closed, and they're just people working like underground. And the guy, pretty much was like, didn't have enough experience, and I'm completely okay with it. And oh, sorry, the light just went out.
Oh, it's okay.
So I was completely okay with it, and I went with it anyways, and I did it. And and I didn't like, I kind of let him decide what would be the best way to go with it after the second round, because the first one was just the lining.
Yeah.
Then he one line, and then he came back and did it again. And yes, it looks like a Sharpie type of thing, but let me tell you.
But it's like on brand, It's like it fits the brand.
The thing is that the amount of respect that I gained after doing that.
Sure.
Like, I don't know if because now the way that I carry myself and I know who I am and I know exactly like the direction I'm going, I never get one single person in public that doesn't know me asking me like, why'd you have that or what is that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they just look at me with more respect. Actually, they're like, like, who are you? Are you
You're
a rapper?
Yeah.
A lot of people think that I'm either like a rapper or in the movies. That's the number one question. I actually want to make a video like that because people get asked, but people come up to me like out of the blue, even if they don't know me. They're like, who are you? Like, what do you do? They just intrigued, And I'm like, I'm just a dog trainer. And they're like, what? A dog trainer. I'm on YouTube, but I'm a dog trainer.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so
that's awesome.
But the tattoo kind of goes like that. And then and obviously when people do have someone around that says he's a dog daddy, he literally like travels around training dogs, got his own pack of dogs, like it's really the real deal, then it makes more sense to people. Yes. But now, like if I go to the bank, if I go to like the local stores, they don't call me by my first name at all. It's all dog daddy, which was, it was a really huge thing because it's very good for branding. Like it could be one person in the bank and they were like, oh, it's the dog daddy's here. And then
everybody else is like, what?
Funny.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, the dog daddy. And then they think it's like something funny at first. And they're like, no, like look him up. He's the dog daddy. And they usually would tell them like, look him up, because that's why people know me. It's like on social media, which is all good for promoting.
And then people see you're legit.
I mean, maybe I would have done a little better job if I could, but I don't regret it because it's been a part of like helping me grow and get my name out there.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. And I think even like if I get to explain it, that's what it is. I mean, anyone can make a mistake. I don't regret it. The only mistake is that I was impatient and I went to a tattoo artist that was not experienced to do this type of tattoo. And I did it anyways, completely my fault. But other than that, it's said and done, and it's fine.
What's your favorite designer brand?
I'm not allowed to say that.
Oh, you're not? All right. Fair enough.